Hi guys, and welcome back. Hey, this time we're working on an XR650L Honda. It might look like a dinosaur, but they're still making these today, and it's one of the most reliable Hondas you can buy. So, that said, this one does have a problem. This sweetheart right here, well, it starts, runs a while, and then just shuts off. I'm going to demonstrate and see if it'll actually do it. Key on, choke on. You can see it kind of misfire in there. Boom, boom, boom. Bunch more times. All right, that's what we get. Now this sweetheart does have the extra large, I think this is a Kirby's tank on it. But anyway, that makes spark plugs really hard to get to on this thing. And it's one of the first things I wanted to do is check the spark plug and see what it looks like, what we got going on, and then we'll go over everything else that we may need to do or not do. First of all, let's see if we can actually get to the spark plug on this thing. Now with this sweetheart, the spark plug, it lives way down in there. That's just the spark plug cap I took off. The spark plug's actually way down there in between the two exhaust valves. We're actually right in the middle of the head because this is a true Hemi engine, true hemispherical head engine. So that's where the spark plug would be, is right smack in the center. I'm going to see if I can dig it out of there. Now our first step is going to be to blow some air in there and blow any crud that's around the spark plug out. Now as you may see from the dust flying off this sweetheart, once in a while it sees something that's not a gravel road. But most of the time this thing is on gravel roads or two-lane highways. So that's what you get. All right, let's see if we can get a plug out. Just hope the threads are good. There we go. They don't look too bad. Okay, let's see how it runs now. Key on, choke on. No improvement. I think we'll use our old plug to see if we got spark. None. We'll wiggle some stuff. See that? We got one spark. Turn the key off. Back on. We get one spark. Why would that be? I don't know. There's really not much to make this thing actually have spark. All you really have is the crankshaft position sensor, which is on the other side on these. It's not with the stator. And then the ignition system itself is battery powered. So we have that, and I'm thinking since we have our one spark, we're really not got a problem as far as a kill switch or something like that. Here's a diagram of this thing, if you can actually see it. Right there's a diagram of the actual ignition system. Let me find a pointer. So look through the viewfinder here. Your ignition control module is right here. It is an ICM, ignition control module. You have an ignition pulse generator. That is down on the crankshaft on the right side. And it's just got two wires, and one of them is definitely a ground because it goes to ground. So all we're looking for is a signal on our blue-yellow. BU, I'm going to guess is blue. Yeah, blue-yellow. And yellow-red goes to the starter, so it knows when you're starting. You would think, I don't know why it has that feed, but it does. But from our battery up here, we simply go through a main fuse, ignition switch, and then we're in the red-black, and we come around here to our engine stop switch and go directly over to the ICM. That's all there is to that. Now this is our side stand switch, and it gets a little bit muddier here because we have a green, it's actually a ground on Hondas, green's ground the world around. And then green-white comes out as a signal wire whenever the side stand would be up. Maybe, yeah, I guess it'd be up, because down it would turn the side stand switch indicator on, which would indicate this goes to here, choop, 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 like that. And past that, we have a neutral stand diode, And all this is doing is keeping it from backfeeding. We got a ground that comes into here, and we have to ground this circuit through the diode. And then also we got this one grounded, so we have ground going into the system, and this would be ground in, but can't come back out. And then we go over here to our light green black, which goes to our neutral indicator. Side stand, it all works off this part of the system. But I don't think we have a problem there, because we get one spark. When we turn the key back on, one spark is all we get. So my money's either on the ICM itself or on the ignition pulse generator. Because like I say, it's battery powered, so there's nothing else in the stator involved in this system whatsoever. So all we really need is to check this ignition pulse generator and check to make sure we got battery power at our ignition control module when the key is on, and that should be on our black-white. We should have power there because we're going from the battery, main fuse, ignition switch, fuse, down to our ignition stop switch, and then on over to the battery. I don't suspect we have a fuse problem because of the one spark. So we either have a problem here, we have a problem here, or on some of these wires in between. And we'll check into that as we go. But right now, we're going to check our ignition pulse generator. This is just simply, just picking up a magnetic signal. Rotor goes around, goes past the magnet, creates a tiny bit of AC voltage. This thing knows, hey, the crankshaft is turning, and now I know when it's turning. That's the important part about this. Let's check this blue-yellow, wherever we can get to it. Now, our ignition control module is back here with the battery. So we'll pop this off. These are 3 Zeus-style quarter-turn fasteners, which are a pain in the butt to get back on. I bet we're going to be cleaning an air filter before we send this home. Woo! Yeah, I think so. So far we're in the battery box and we haven't used a single tool yet. Right here's our battery itself, and here is our ignition control module. And we have very few wires going to it because this system is simple. So we're going to take this bracket off the back. All right, the first step, our cam pulse generator sits underneath the right side cover here. And our first step to get to it is going to be to undo the wire. And it runs up here along the back of the frame rail through this clampy thingy up to this connector. So we're going to disconnect this here, and then we're going to get this loose so we can get this wire slid all the way down out of here. Now, I don't have my new one yet, but I wanted to go ahead and get this part of this done. So we're going to see if we can get that off there real quick. So I think that's going to be our next project, is go ahead and pop this cover off. Now, to get this cover off, we can leave our exhaust in place, but we got to get our brake pedal out of the way. It's always something, isn't it? We probably need to drop this down too to be able to clear here pretty good. We don't want to be fiddling with a lot of stuff when we're putting this cover back on. We want everything to kind of just whoop on like that. All right, let's get the brake pedal off. And it looks like we have a kind of pin back here that we have to take out. And then we can probably just pull this out far enough without taking the master cylinder loose. I was hoping not to have to mess with this, but it looks like I'm going to need to cut off our Cherbys frame cover there. Yep, zip ties, zip ties, zip ties. Now these crazy zip ties are getting pretty crispy. They come off real good. Like so. All right, we'll take our master cylinder loose. Oh, geez, need a 6, not a 5. All right, I think we're on record now. We took our 2 nuts off of our studs, and then we're working our way around, taking the Allen bolts out here, and right now we're taking the oil filter cover off, because we're going to change the oil. Oil isn't too bad. What kind of filter are we using? Don't know. It says Poland on it. All right, we'll continue taking our bolt covers, or bolts out of our cover. Only a wrench too. That feeds oil up to the top end of the engine, camshaft and rocker arms and valves. We'll go ahead and get our spring out of here. It goes behind the oil filter while we're there. So we don't lose that sweetheart. I'm going to grab 12 wrench and we'll go ahead and take that oil line loose. All right, we got that out of there. There's one of our crush washers. There'll be another one under here. Right there, keep those together. And take our nut out down here. I'm probably going to have to go ahead and pull this off too. We need to get a wrench on the other end of that. One tool at a time. Pretty soon we'll have them all over here. And we might be able to clear that, but might not too. Let's go ahead and take this one loose. All right, now then it'll get out of the way. There we go. Ah, that's really out of the way. That'll be right down there in the oil and everything else. Might as well just go ahead and take this last one out while we're at it. There we go. Now this cover should be about ready to come off. Hook that spring up there so he stays out of the way. Yeah. And maybe that'll keep him out of the way. Let's see here. Yep, looks like most of them are off. Get that little clip out of the way. Of course not. Let me grab a soft-faced hammer and we'll give it a couple thumps. Got some good oil flow coming out of this sweetheart. There we go. Nice flood. All right, we got both of our dowel pins, we got our oil line. Now this is the oil pump drive gear, and the only thing that holds it on is that side cover. So we'll take it off and put it in our side cover. This is the sensor we're after, and it tests bad. So we'll go ahead and pull this out maybe. See if we can pull our wire on down out of there. There we go. The good news is we're just two 10mm bolts away from that sweetheart being off. There we go. Enough heat cycles. I guess it finally breaks down on the inside. Got to wear through our cover here. I don't see any wiring problems. Another one up here. See if we can pull this down far enough to get past that one. No. Here we can pull this one up this way and kind of take a look at our wires. You don't see any skin spots and through the green wires. This is pretty stinking well protected down through here. So I suspect we just got a bad sensor. When it shows up, we'll put it on. But like I say, it is not here yet. It's on order, but I don't know if it's just on the slow boat from Japan or any other logistics problems. It don't seem like since COVID, everybody can figure out logistics. You never know when something's going to show up. Got a couple other parts on order too I've been kind of curious about. But we'll find out about those too eventually. All right, guys, that's it. This thing is as far down as we're going to take it. That sensor is what we were after, and I'll bring you guys back whenever I get a new sensor. Well, well, looky what I got. We got ourselves a sensor, Honda sensor, and a Honda gasket. Ta-da! We're ready to see if this thing's going to work. There we go. Every time this comes by, we should get a spark. Theoretically. And let's crank her over and see what we got. Hi Gus, we got spark all over the place. Alrighty. To some people it's going to be normal. To some of you it's going to be strange. But the oil goes in the frame up here. Kind of a standard operating procedure for several Honda motorcycles. Now you might ask yourself, what oil would we put in this thing? Well, gotta tell you, it's Honda GN4 motorcycle oil. Being a motorcycle, seems like the right thing to do. You want to put a bunch of oil in this, not too much, probably a quart and a half, and then stop. Because right now, that frame is overflowing. Yep, we overfilled her. We're gonna turn the key on, kill switch off, and pump it over a little bit. And suck that excess oil down into the engine. Now this makes a mess that you can't clean up because it goes underneath the tank down the frame. But that said, that's exactly what happened. I knew better and I did it anyway. We're going to stick the dipping stick back in. Even though it's going to show overfull now, we're going to run this a little bit and then recheck it. And that's really, you know, if it starts and all that. But I'm pretty confident. Well, it helps when you hit record. Turns out I didn't have the spark plug wire on there good enough, so I missed that shot, but it's running. All right, let's recheck our oil level. See how we're doing. We are right there. And I gotta tell you, it don't take much to bring this sweetheart on up because the frame isn't very big there. So let's give it another splash. Bring it on up to the top and see what happens then. That will change it quite a bit, that little splash. Yep, now we're up here in the top half of the range. Right about there. So I am going to leave it there. When it gets warm, it'll come up too. We just need to take this thing for a ride and make sure everything is good. We'll take this baby for a ride and see if it runs all right. right, guys, I think we got this one taken care of. We put a crankshaft position sensor in it, and that kind of take care of things. So anyway, this is a 94 XR650L with almost 20,000 miles on it and still runs great. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. I'll do my best to answer them. And once again, thank you for watching, subscribing, all that. God bless, and hopefully I'll see you on the next one.